Client onboarding is arguably the biggest challenge that banks and market participants face today. It's inclusive of regulatory compliance like Know Your Customer and now FATCA. And the cost of getting it wrong is quite significant. When banks get it wrong, the fines can easily exceed $1 billion US. Today, it's a manual, labor-intensive, time-consuming, and error-prone process. And there's very little innovation, very little automation. Typically, it's done with human operations that are augmented by BPM workflow tools to make them a bit more efficient, and often it's done offshore. COB, client onboarding, is the process by which one determines whether or not one can do business and transact with another party. And it includes regulatory mandates like Know Your Customer and now FATCA. So you're supposed to know the parties with whom you do business. And ultimately, a risk rating is assigned to that counterparty. And that determines the degree of oversight that will have to continue to be applied to that counterparty and whether or not the bank, in fact, wants to do business with them. And much of this is governed by regulation. And it's a very complicated thing, but it's a very important thing. There's very definitely new regulations. For example, FATCA is a new regulation, and most every country now has some version of FATCA regulation. So, you know, you're supposed to know the parties with whom you're transacting business.